Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name's Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
And I'm Josh Lamage. I just want to say aloha to everybody. I'm getting really into this show. The show is crazy. I'm getting so much. All right. Anyway,
it's a lot.
This is a lot.
There's a lot going on here, people.
Man.
As you can see in the comments, we got a lot of people from the islands. Thanks for the support, for the subs, for the comments, and appreciating the fact that we are appreciating the culture and doing our best. We are doing our best. I put it into the comments. Some guy was like, was it Kauai, right? Hawaii.
No,
Hawaii. See, and we practice this, people.
Don't do it, Adam. Don't do it. We got to practice harder.
We got to practice. We're gonna before this is over. We're gonna know all.
Shout out to Kalani Mondoy 8344.
We're gonna say it correct.
I wasn't adding that middle, that AI in the middle of it. Hawaii. We'll keep working on it.
I blame Hawaii 5-0 for all of this. Sorry, people. That's just the TV and the way they say it. It's just not with the proper dialect. That's the whole thing.
Used to hearing it a certain way.
Most
of our lives.
It's incorrect, and it's an incorrect way. That's a shame. That's what I'm saying. It's like it shouldn't be that way. Shout
out to a couple of people that commented. Wilsey012.
Holy moly. Shout out for the essay. I mean, sitting under the learning tree. Who would have guessed it here on this channel right there? That's all you need to know. I'm getting comments all over the place. Like, what's happening here? What's this mean? What's that? And I am just copy and pasting that comment. That was just amazing.
Great
if you haven't seen it, take a look. Last episode, I put it at the top. It's highlighted. It's pinned. It'll be there for the end of days. I will forever leave that there.
We got some comments by Gochoa, Daphne Ka 4307, and Tizzy 80. Sorry if I butchered that name. Thank you so much for commenting and following us with this journey. I've always been someone that loves history, and I'm honestly astounded that I've never heard of this legend, and I'm really glad that it's coming to the forefront right now. And I'm hoping the numbers of the streaming are going up. I really hope Apple does its thing and gets it to the right audience. I really think.
Cool that's what we were talking about beforehand. It's like we're watching this and it's great. The production is there, the story is there, but are the people there? It's like are people tuning in? We've already seen chatter in different forms in different areas, and people that we talk to. Hey, you watch Chief of Words? Like it's a lot of reading, a lot of subtitles. I'm like, but it's keeping it authentic. That's what you
read,
want.
People. Come on, read. You want them just speaking.
You want it to be authentic. We talked about before Shogun, and that won a bunch of awards, and that was the same thing. There was very little English in that. Everything else subtitled. And look, it people jumped on board.
It makes it more authentic. It makes it more believable in a cool way. I don't know. And they do throw in English here. Some characters I didn't even know could speak English were speaking English this episode. Kamehameha started speaking English. I don't know. He was learning too. So
that's a big part of the history with John Young. That I do know that much is that he brings him into like as a confidant to help him and understand that. I don't want to get spoiled out of the story just from real world and what may carry over into the show, but he does play a big part, just like he is right now with his wife, teaching her English within this 1 year time that we have.
Kiana's wife? Oh no.
Kamehameha's
wife. Yeah.
Kamehameha's wife. Because John Young, remember, it was like from the last episode, 1 year later, and she's pretty good right now with the English. But then she found out that she was marrying Kamehameha. She tried to put that off for the longest time. I'm surprised she even got a year of putting that off. But hey, it happened. And we'll get into the rest of it when she brings it up with John Young. It was funny his response, but his response is very genuine. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. Accept your life. It could be worse, which is true. It's like it could be a lot worse, as we see.
She's like, I miss being in a cave. Anyway, we'll get back into that.
I don't know about that. Man.
City of Flowers Part 2. I'm
Juice.
surprised that there's a Part 2 kind of thing going on here. But yeah, opening scene, we get someone running frantically. I guess he got some news, so he's a messenger. He's trying to send it. We see the camera kind of going crazy, weird perspective. I was like, is something chasing him?
That's what I thought. That's the first thing I thought, that there was an invading army. They just ran ashore, and he was on the lookout, and he was like sort of like a Paul Revere type of thing. But no,
The king is dead. King Kalani'opu'u is dead.
yeah, yeah.
So in the last episode, he was the one that was really talking to Kiana about, what he thinks is going to happen going
Just
forward.
getting everything in motion for his death.
He knew he was dying.
Yeah, he was like, this guy's taking over. Kamehameha, I need you to be in charge of pretty much like the warlord. Well, the chief of war. I want to say chief of war, but I don't think maybe they do. Maybe
I was
they do
thinking,
mention it.
I was like, maybe in different districts. This is
Yeah.
Hawaii, so maybe it's different from Maui, as far as like maybe Maui calls him chief of war. I don't know.
Because they also say
please
God
drop in
of
the
war.
comments.
Yeah, exactly. They handed him later on in the staff, and it was like, "Oh, you are the God of war."
I'm
like,
assuming
shout out
it's a term
Kratos.
of position.
Oh
Power.
yeah, it's definitely
So
a position.
It's just, it's funny that you could also be the king, but then you could be the king and the God of war, or someone else is the God of war. But I'm assuming it's a super highly respected position, and they seem like a people that is very backing of a noble warrior type figures. So I guess there's a little bit of jealousy going on here, but
And there's a hierarchy. That's the one thing we heard it before in this episode when Kaana is dealing with all his drama, and some people are like, "Oh, where's the savage?" and doing this whole thing. People that don't pay attention, don't understand those type of things or cultures, they're going to say something ignorant like that. But that's what I love about this show is that I didn't know the hierarchy, the structure that they have. The titles and entitlements, and I always
knew
figured.
nothing.
Yeah, I just figured it's like, all right, well, you're part of this area, you work as a community, and then there's other communities, and then you work together. I had no idea.
I didn't even know they were interconnected as far as like, and this is my own ignorance, I guess, and not knowing this stuff, but like interconnected districts, how they can pass information from island to island and stuff like that. Like really,
yeah, so many.
My whole life I heard Hawaii, and I just thought of like one big place. Like I didn't,
And there's plenty of other really cool little islands also.
Yeah,
it's like over 100 of them, and it's like, oh, you're in control of this district. Some of them don't even interact with each other. They just like separate. It's their own world. It's just amazing. And
word passes quick, though, I will say, in this show.
Oh yeah.
Like people from the
they make it serious. Yeah, they got their own version.
Someone got on a boat was just like,
they're hustling. They are hustling. They have the long canoe. You got like 4 or 5 guys and gals just rowing. I've seen these races, right? Isn't that also in the Olympics where they do the longboat? Yeah. Same thing. I'm sure that came from this. I mean,
in some way, probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, but we see I'm saying this, but Keoa in royal garb. He's standing, he's wearing his thing. He's wearing his outfit. Now he's acclaimed himself the king. He already knew that he would be. He's standing over his father, and yeah, everyone. It's a sad thing, and word goes back to Maui. Well, but he's not on Maui right now. No. He is.
It was
Oahu.
Oahu, yes, he's still on Oahu.
And they tell him that he's dead. Kakili hears of this, and he says, his bones were to be the ultimate prize for my altar. That's the first thing he thinks of.
Yeah, for his throne, he said. That was the thing. The throne. I was like, whoa.
His altars were the things that he was making.
Yeah, the thing. But it's also a sign of respect, as Worley had told us and informed us with the whole detail. It's not so much. And that was also mentioned even with the whole James Cook situation with the bones and all the stuff preparing. It's also a sign of respect. But the way he's portraying and everything and delivering his lines, it's almost like with vicious intent. Like, no, I just want to kill him and do it. I don't know. Maybe I'm just taking it out of context.
I mean, he did say prize.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you hear that, you're like, oh, this is. You were talking about within warfare.
He has already assumed his defeat and wanted his collection. Like in his mind, he's on a war path that is prophesized, so he believes that nothing stands in his way.
Yeah, well,
and so, but he tells him he wants to conquer Hawaii's kingdom, and one of his men speaks up and says that we don't feel like this is a prophecy. You're erasing bloodlines.
Mhm.
We had the intention, the intention was to unify the islands, and this does not feel like unification.
No, he's just taking over by force. He did that with the Young King, and now he's doing it here with all this, and talking about getting everyone prepared to just invade all the other ones. Like he feels like his bloodline is the only one that's supposed to matter because he
He
brings
says
that
it,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, he says it. It's like, oh, the loyalty is with their kingdoms. That's what they care about. Well,
Yeah,
I
he
want
says
them to
it's
care
not
about.
Maui. It's not Maui. He
Yeah,
wants to make everything Maui.
yeah. It's all about him.
And he looks at his son, and now I can't tell. Adam, what do you think here? Is his son like on the same page as him? There's moments where they're looking at each other, and you
Yeah,
can see a little bit of like, all right, what's going on? And then another moment,
he's
he's like, all
second.
right.
Yeah, he's second guessing. We saw that in the first episode. Remember when he first approached Kiana over on the island? He had this like aggressive, very cocky attitude toward everything. But then here with his dad, and we saw that in the previous one too, he wasn't too sure. It's like, why are we doing this again and killing these farmers? And wait, is this really what we're supposed to be doing? And I think he's just unsure, but it is what it is. It's his dad. His dad's running the show.
Let's see some of the images. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes,
We got
yes.
some images here for those watching YouTube.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
look at bro in his outfit. He
Yeah,
looks upset.
he's upset. He's trying to figure this out. It's a tough spot because he's clearly his own man, or else we wouldn't have any of this type of reactions from him.
But he's upset. Obviously, like his father, he
Yeah,
grew up his whole life thinking that this position would be handed to them. It shows some kind of like disconnect, and also shows some kind of lack of trust as far as like his strength. You know what I mean?
the king had brought up something like this in the last episode, or maybe the one before that. But he had talked about how more like it's about timing, and time was taking too long. And I feel that this always happens with elder kings or rulers that are toward that later stage of their life, where they're like, you know what, it's either now or never. I'm just going to make this move. And that's pretty much what we got here with the younger king taking them out. It's like, wait, why are we doing this? It's like,
It's
it was
smart.
time.
He was thinking ahead. Some
Yeah,
people
he
don't.
just wants to get it done. He
And
wants to
so-
just get all this done. And maybe he wants to do it to set things up for his son. I mean, he doesn't look that old, right? So it's not about that, but I think it's more of he's just impatient, and they're very big on prophecies and what they see or things are supposed to happen. We'll get into Kamehameha with some of the stuff that he brings up again with prophecy. So he's trying to make his own path with this and to make it work as if it does make sense for the unification, but it's really coming off in another way. It's coming off very forced.
And I think as people are seeing it too. And that's what I love about this too. It's just like, there's a lot of times you see shows where like people are just following like a merciless ruler and stuff and just kind of like whatever. But a lot of people are like looking at each other in the show like, all right, like should we be following this guy?
They're giving the side eye. They're definitely giving the side eye.
Which is cool.
I don't know about this, and
because if that goes unchecked, then it just keeps getting worse. So next scene, we end up in another district. We're in Koala. I don't know if hopefully I'm saying
hopefully
right.
We're saying that right.
Sorry. Kaumanu is sitting on a cliffside, and John Young comes over to her, and he's like, "You're late for your lesson." and then straight to the dramatics. I was born in a cave.
Yeah, she just goes and go back to the cave story, and she starts saying all the stuff about life and what she
said. I felt alive, and I found life in the silence, in the darkness. I could be free. I could be anything. And then he basically is like, you can find this life if you have more freedom right now if you just stop fighting against it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she asked him about what about in your culture? How do women and men and I mean, the gist of it is like, yeah, it's pretty much the same. It's like the woman follows the man is the head of the house, and the man follows God. I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but this is how it is, at least from their world and in his world as well. And he's like, yeah, this isn't that different.
And she says something cool here. She goes, our gods are the same in that way. They speak to men about men. They don't get to speak with me. There will be a day where I no longer need a cave to be free. And I don't know if she meant for that to rhyme, but that was very cool.
It was her mic drop moment right there. And she should have just walked off. And it's like, lesson, I've learned all my lessons. Oh, but No, but it's a tough spot. She's in a tough spot. We get what she wants to do, but it was really for what her father wanted to do for the greater good of the family. And it can't be a good feeling to be pinned with a bunch of other women, wives. It's like, all right, these are your new sister wives here, and you hang out with them all day until you start giving off, having your offspring. And it's yeah, it's tough. And she's a free thinker, as we can see here. This whole thing, the fact that she even learned English, she didn't have to do that. You don't have to go
Yeah,
about
sure.
all
And
this.
she's getting really good at it too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it helps her and Kamehameha also, as we know, not just in this episode, but through the history of Kamehameha and what happens with him and John Young. There's a lot that happens historically. Are we going to see it all in the show? I'm sure some of it, it'll come over. But
So Kupoahi, Kayana's wife, is sitting by a rock. And Namake comes over and he brings her some food. And he's like, I'll bring you some fish tonight.
And this is Kaana's half brother. He has two half brothers, right?
And
That's
Namake
what.
and Nahi.
Yes, these are half brothers. These are the ones that we saw in the beginning, just in case some people are not too sure. Best friends, this not. We looked this up. According to the records, that's how they're regarded, right? Half brothers. Okay,
They have the
so
same mother, apparently.
same mother, same mother. Now, also take into account, it's still been over a year. Okay, over a
But then that
year.
was a weird thing because Kaikili says, "Oh, you have the same ugly face as your father."
Yeah, that's why I didn't understand. I thought it was all there was same parents, but then according to what we're finding out, online and from other source materials talking about the history, they're calling them half brothers. So maybe it's for debate on the connection of how that whole thing goes with that. I mean, even with Kaana and how he first encountered the British merchants, it's again up for debate of how that happened. They said most of the accounts is that they came, they did some trading, and then he says, "Hey, I want to come along," and they said, "All right, fine, come along." Took him on a trip, and then he went through Europe and Asia and took the rounds that way. But of course, in the show, he went flying off a cliff, and they picked him up in the water. So
More
that
dramatic. He's like,
yeah,
"Hey
more
guys, can I go
dramatic.
with you?"
That's why I was telling somebody else in the chat. They were in the comments. They're like, I didn't see this anywhere. I was like, I think it's still a show. It's still a TV show at heart. And if they can put in their own little flair on something, I think they will
100%.
do it. Yeah,
He
and
said it like in the beginning. It's like based on historical events with
yeah,
some
exactly.
additional
I mean,
flair. Because yeah,
it's not a docu-series. They're not going frame for frame, period to period.
it's the legend.
This
It's the legend.
this is a legend. They're filling in the blanks with whatever. In that case, this was one of them. There's few accounts of how he interacted with the British merchants. No one knows, but they know that he went willingly on a ship to go see and explore and do the whole thing. He was the first to leave. Okay, that's fine. But for the show, he went flying off a cliff. Pick the one you want.
Speaking of flying off a cliff, Nahi is upset. I mean, he sees Namake flirting with Kayana's wife, and he's annoyed by this. And Heke comes over and she's like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Why does everybody act like he's dead, like he's not coming back?" And she's like, "Because most likely he is."
It's been
And he's
a
like,
year.
"Well," it's like, "You don't know that for sure." And he looks over and he's like, "Namake has always been in love with Kupoi. He always has."
Small community. It's possible. These things happen. But people in the comments, how would you feel you're in this situation? Your brother disappears. You don't know. He's not like he's in jail. It's like, oh, he's locked up. He'll be back. No. He's gone. It's been a year. It's a long time. Do you move on? Are you okay with the widow moving on? Especially if it's within the family, that type of thing. You know what this reminds me of? The Patriot.
Soldiers. That happens.
Yeah. Soldiers. It happens with firefighters. We saw that during 9/11. Remember there was a bunch of firefighters, their widows, and yeah, these things happen. It happens. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but especially if there's a certain amount of time of
interesting
mourning.
circumstance because I guess they could connect more on the matters at hand. Me personally, if I mean, I would have no say if I was gone, but like I'd kind of be tight if my best friend was, with my ex-wife. But I mean, as long As long as he fills that void, I guess. I have no clue, but it's kind of an
I
awkward
mean,
situation.
it's like Castaway. Remember with Tom
Uh-huh.
Hanks, where he was on the island for years and then he came back and his wife already had moved on, but he was labeled as dead. He
I mean, it
disappeared for
makes sense. I mean,
years.
if you vanished for a long time, like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. It's like so
I
a
don't know.
year for a year. Okay, I think that's all right.
At least in this time too, like they have no clue. They
Yeah, I
think
mean,
he's
a
dead.
year could feel like forever. Could feel like more than a year. I don't know. It's a long time, but she's still mourning. She is still mourning. As we get into it in later parts of the episode.
Kiana wakes up on the ship and notices that Tony's bed is empty. And then he walks through the village, well, through the trade area of this place. What was this? Zamboanga?
It was a Spanish port. That much I remember. So I just wrote down in my
Losing
notes
the name
Spanish
on it.
port. Yeah, it was a
But
Spanish port.
he's observing all the, right now he's looking at like a lot of the Asian communities that are selling things, trading. Everyone's kind of commotion going around. He finds Vi. Was that her name?
I think so. Yeah.
She
That's
said to call her Vi.
yep. You could call it Vine, but
And,
we no. Go ahead.
and he's pissed. He's looking at her. He's like, I see no Kanaka in you. Like you're walking
Oh,
like them, you're acting like them. Like
uh-huh.
your ancestors would definitely be pissed with how you're acting. Like you're becoming one of them.
But she even said it though. She was like, I was nothing back home. I was lower than low. No one cared about me. And he was like, well, then what happened? How did you get here? She said, I got in a canoe and I just went out. And then the ship found me and ta-da, here she is.
I'm
So,
surprised they didn't put her into the trade as well, unless they did and she found a way to finesse it.
yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
But Kiana looks at her and he goes, money makes you more like them. And she goes, all right, well, I made a deal for your guns, so you have to go with your ship. And he's like, have you seen Tony? He's really on a mission to find Tony.
Hey, he's a loyal friend. Tony helped him out, I'm sure, during that whole voyage for the year. And look,
Yeah.
he picked up English fairly quick.
But she doesn't care. She's like, get to the ship. Like, we have to go back. And then Kiana approaches Marley, who's just walking around as well. And he asks, have you seen Tony? And obviously Marley knows, and Marley says, a man like that has the devil on his mind. He could be anywhere.
The devil's on his mind. Who says that? That's like, oh,
Strange line.
that is a strange line.
We hear a baby crying. Kiana looks and sees a baby with their mother, and he pulls a blanket back, or a covering, and he witnesses all these people engages, and the baby's crying, and his real first time seeing this human trafficking that's happening, slave trades. And
this part, it was interesting because the mood changes, the audio changes. It's getting more intense. You could see he's just like in shock. He's never seen anything like this. But what took me back from this is that it looks like the guy's not just talking but hitting him.
yeah, he's just hitting
right. You just because I wasn't sure if he was like patting him like, "Hey, sir," or was he like wailing on him? But I think he's just because he's just standing like in shock, and then just if they could just throw red on the screen, that's what I'm envisioning was in his mind at that point. Because he turned around and just went to town on this dude, just started bashing him, slamming him out. Yeah, it was like, no, this pale skin is going to die.
And then boom, we hear this the bullets and everything. They're trying the soldiers, the Spanish soldiers running after him. And then there was a weird cut here, at least for our viewing of it. And then we're back in the cliffside. We're in the Kau district of Hawaii. Hawaii.
Yeah,
I hope I'm saying. I'm so sorry, guys.
Hawaii. Yeah. Hawaii.
And
now it's this scene here, right? I'm pretty sure.
We're almost there, I believe so. But we learn that there's 6 districts in this kingdom.
Yeah, they're getting ready. This is the ceremony.
Yeah, go back a couple of pictures actually.
Well.
It's 2 before this one here.
Okay, there we go.
So it's a solemn event. Everything's kind of dark and sad, and we see KOI walking onto a stage, and everybody's kind of gathering around to talk about what's going to happen next. And so they talk about how Kalani Opo'u was a well-regarded king, and he's made his claim of who he wants in leadership positions. So he wants his son as the king, and he's fine with that, of course. And then they talk about who's going to be the god of war. And boom.
And it's Kamehameha comes out and he steps forward. But oh man, maybe we didn't. There's something we're missing, but I didn't think he was going to get so aggressive with Kamehameha. You picked him for
He's
this.
pissed.
He's just like, oh, it's like, oh, getting on him, and then Kamehameha was like, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna be by your side, brother. Brother, don't.
Yeah, but even in the last episode, he was like, well, it depends on what the God of War chooses. And he already assumed in his mind that he would be chosen as God of War. So he didn't want to care. And obviously he feels threatened by Kamehameha in what he brings, because everyone has regarded Kamehameha differently, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
So,
and we find out more with the story and the stone
oh, yeah.
later on. That's really what triggers all of it. And I think that's what Kamehameha is conflicted with also, because of how others perceive him and from what he knows as fact. So yeah, I could see that. I could see that the inner fighting there of like, do I deserve this? Should I even be in this spot?
I mean, Kiowa snaps here. He's like, you're stealing my birthright. Again, yeah, you're not my brother. And then he says, you are the bastard son of Apoiwa,
Yeah.
Apoiwa, Apoiwa,
That's rough.
raised in my father's court. You were no king.
Oh, man. How do you say this in front of everyone at this ceremony? I even later on, someone also mentions it's like, yeah, you shouldn't be saying these type of things.
Yeah, they gotta turn against you.
You gotta tone it down here, because he does have a lot of people that support him, Kamehameha.
Yeah, and he's not swayed by this. Kamehameha is like, well, I'm not gonna go against the wishes. I'm gonna be God of War.
Yeah, no, he doesn't. He's gonna stick with the role, but I was expecting him again. This is just me in my head thinking crazy that he was just gonna be like, nah, you know what, and just snap his neck or do something nuts. I know it's
he
not
does
happening.
do something. He's just sort of like punching himself.
No, not him. Kamehameha. I thought he was gonna flip. Like, what? You call me a bastard? Are you kidding me? I'm gonna.
Yeah, because he knows in his heart of hearts that he's got it over him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like he doesn't really need to. He's gonna let this guy crumble before him, anyways. It doesn't matter. So it's like he's got the respect of the people. That's that's more than this guy wishes he could have. So
yeah, and then that's a Kamehameha walks away, leaves, and then that's when the new king starts punching himself in the face a lot.
I thought he was gonna punch himself a couple times. He was drawing blood, and then he pulls out a tooth, man.
They did a good job with the makeup on this, because they showed the swelling and everything, just like instant. I was like, okay, yeah. I've been punched in the face a few times. I know how that works. And it's so swelling. He pulls a tooth out, and he's like, yeah, I'm done with my mourning. This is it. Now it's a new era.
All right. Like, your mourning has just begun.
Yeah.
But this is already causing division.
It just started.
Kamanu is with the wives, and she sees her father in the distance talking to Kamehameha. Next picture. Yeah, it's about to be in this scene. So Kale is gathering support in the district. So that's what they're worried about right now. So Kamehameha is worried, not really worried, but like kind of discussing how, the new king is going to try to get the 6 districts to kind of join together and maybe support his claim to be God of War, because he just really wants that position, I guess, more than king, or I don't know. But
keep on.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I don't know, and I think Kamehameha doesn't really know what he wants. It gets to this point. That's why it's very important what's happening in the next scene. Well, what happened in the next scene, because he's very conflicted with all of this. He doesn't know his role. There was that scene where he was meeting with her father, and he's trying to give him guidance and talking about prophecy and all. And he's still like, I don't.
Yeah, he says something like, Kamehameha's father says to him, your father or your uncle gave you God of War over his own son. Like, it will come with great grief. Great grief. Oh my gosh. Great grief and loss, but you will not face it alone. And then he turns to him and he goes, if I tear this kingdom apart, then I am alone.
Yeah. He's got to figure things out. But thankfully he has a strong wife, or one of his wives, this newest one. I think she's still the newest one, who is going to put him on that right path. Because then, we get the next scene where she's here with the father. And just they're talking and then trying to figure things out.
She's like, can I speak with him? And he's like, no, go be with the women.
She's bored hanging out with them. Right. She already did all that. There's a whole lot of nothing going on there. I think they just, who knows what they were doing, but She definitely feels out of place.
And she finds Kamehameha sitting by some rocks. I think in the next photo, it's just her
Yeah,
like
that was
observing him from afar.
yeah.
And
This was yeah.
there's an unmovable rock, and the legend is the prophecy would be like whoever can move this would be the one that was prophesied by the gods. And she sees him like looking at it, and he's kind of like observing it, kind of leaning over it, maybe trying to move it again.
Definitely trying to move it again.
Yeah. And he's like, "Did your father send you?" She's like, "No."
Yeah. I was like, no, maybe. Can we talk? But it's cool because we find out a few things here. One, he can speak English. She's been teaching him.
Oh yeah.
Okay? Yeah. Eventually, I know from the stories is that Jong Young gets involved, but I think at this point we haven't seen them interact with Jong Young. It seems like it's just his wife teaching him. But then he comes clean about the stone. And he says, and this is interesting, and maybe this, I'm curious. I want to look this up afterwards. Again, people are trying to figure out. We watch the show, and then we take our notes, and then we just, conversation like you would with your friends once you watch the show. That's exactly what we're doing, and you are all our friends. So go ahead, put in the comments, let us know, jump in. But he says that it was an earthquake that took place when he moved the stone. That his foot slid back and the stone sort of shifted, but it was during an earthquake that he didn't really move the stone.
Honestly, I would have took that as a sign anyways.
Oh yeah,
what are the odds of this?
Well, here's my issue with this. If there's an earthquake, others feel the earthquake. So even if you're watching, all right, let's see Kamehameha. Whoa. I mean, I've been in an earthquake. And everyone feels it. It doesn't just hit. Just feel feet.
Maybe that was the effect, and they thought he was moving it, and he caused the ground to shift. And they were just like, "This is insane."
There you go. Okay, there you go. Let's go with that because everyone else bought into it, and plus he's a powerful looking guy. So if there's anybody that could probably move it, they're like, yeah.
I mean, the pure serendipity of that entire situation, or just coincidence, is enough for me to be like, yeah, this guy's he moved it, but he feels some kind of he doesn't feel like he's worthy. He feels like he's kind of a charlatan with this whole thing. I mean, he is a strong leader presenting right now, but he's having his doubts. And she's trying to be a provider of wisdom for him. And she says, the god of war is a position of balance. You have to learn to fight to keep the peace. And he looks at her and he's like, well, what if no matter how hard I try, I can't lift it again? What if the gods are silent?
He says they've been silent, and I think that's why he goes back there, and he hopes that one day he can move. But again, it's one of those, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, did it fall? He needs witnesses. If he can move this again, he could tell anybody. They already believe that he moved it once, so they're going to go with it. I just find it interesting that he goes it, but I think it's more of to just reflect, to think this is his spot. This is his quality time. To reflect on all that stuff.
And he's worried. He's worried about the consequences of the war, and that his advisors, feel like the war would bring destruction to this entire kingdom. So he's really conflicted because now they're also having internal conflicts. Not only is everything else happening, it's like, how do we keep my own people together to protect ourselves from outside invaders? But then we cut to another scene. The main captain of the ship is outside, and he's talking to the guards, and they're like, oh, have you seen the savage? Can we check your ship? And he's like, he's not with me. And they're like, well, the gallows to any man that is caught lying. So he's not about it. No, when he appeared on screen, I thought something bad happened to him in the last episode, and they were taking over the ship. I guess they just distracted him with a woman, and
that was the whole thing, and that's why Tony followed Marley, because he was like, wait, where's he going? Why is he going to the captain's quarters?
Yeah.
And then he went in there and he got ambushed, and the rest is history. But
yeah, I wasn't sure if they wiped out that captain somehow. Like they lured her to get him and later on got him or something. Like that's what I thought. So when I saw him again this time, I was like, oh, he's fine. But he's not messing around. He wants to dip out. They're getting their guns. He doesn't care about Kiana right now, as far as like if Kiana gets there or not. He wants to leave. So he tells Vi, like, hey, like you better find Kiana right now, otherwise we're leaving.
Yeah, no, but that's not happening. That's not happening because Kanu has plans. He wants to find Tony. Tony's his buddy. There's some loyalty right there because for the entire time that we've seen with Kiana here, it's I need guns to go back for this war. And he's got the guns. And then she even brings it up. She tells him, like, hey, we're ready to go. You know, everyone's looking for you. You're hunted. Let's just get out of here. We're good. The deal is set in stone. Let's get out. No. He's like, I'll be there. I'm gonna
Oh,
go.
yeah, and even the
Where would
captain
they?
says,
Yeah,
even the
because
captain says to her,
yeah, the captain said so, but she gives him at least some info and says, well, from what I heard, he is part of the slave trade now. So, and she was like, where's that? And pretty much on the other side of that port. And so he's like, all right, well, that's where I'm going to go.
So then we end up back in the Koala district of Hawaii again. And Kamehameha is holding the staff of the god of war. And he places it on a shrine, I guess, with the rest of the statues of the gods. And he kneels down. He bows his head. It's a very silent scene. Everyone's just kind of watching him do this. I took it as him accepting his position and, you know, really cementing his role right now. He pondered it seems. Because we see Komanu smile a little bit when he gets up and affirms himself. And he says to the people, he says, I will not attack Kewa, the king, right? But I will defend this island, and if he does attack, I will defeat him. But the god of war is silent, someone says to him, and he goes, I know, this is a decision I made.
Yeah. This is it. He's his own man now.
I am the god of war now. Right?
That's it. And he's just going to stand his ground. And it's good. He doesn't want to go and start causing problems. Like, you know, if they want the war, bring it. I'll be ready. So that's good. It looks like he's on the right path.
Then we got Namak fishing. He's like a sphere. He's like, you know, digging around. He told her that he told Gopoi.
Yeah, that he was going to get her some fish.
Get her some dinner. So
yeah,
he brings her over to her. He said, you know, I told you I would. And I heard you were hanging out with Heke earlier and working together. And she looks at him. She goes, we lost Kiana. She's like, without your help, I couldn't find the strength. So, you know, I was drawn to you. Kiana was drawn to you with your strength, and I knew from my ancestry that I would be guarded. You know, I have guardians of the turtle watching over me, so you have been a guardian. She takes off a necklace and hands it to him, and he takes this as a sign of endearment immediately. He's like, "Oh, I'm in the inn right now." He says that.
But she says, "This is all I can give you right now. This is it," and then walks away. She's still mourning. This is still a lot. She's not in that mindset. It was a traumatic experience. Again, it's been a long time, a year.
He was inflating himself too. He was like, "Oh, I see the happiness again in your eyes when you're with me." And she's like, "Yeah,
well, maybe you see something. It's just a sun glare. You see, it's like I got really nice eyes, so I don't know if you're seeing all the happiness."
So then we're back to the port. Guards are patrolling the streets of Zamboanga, and Kiana shows up, and he tells Vi to be quiet, and the Spanish are looking for him, and he's like, you know, they're chaining people, babies, like this is crazy. And she's like, well, your captain lied to protect you. He's willing to set off without you. So he's like, well, and she tells him that Tony was definitely taken for the slave trade, and now he's like, I need to find him. So he's walking around with a flintlock pistol, just freaking looking everywhere, and he happens, I don't know how, it just happens to be in the right area and finds the right places.
Well, he follows the crying and the screaming. That's one thing we did hear a lot. And
but I'm like, is there a bunch of them, or is there just like one big place where they're all held? I guess
I'm assuming that it's one big place, and that's where they're all held, because you have to assume they're doing it the same way that you would move cattle. And when you move cattle, you do the same process. You have all the pens in one side, you have all your grains and all your other, those type of goods in another. You separate things. And I'm assuming that's where it was. And he was following all the cries, because that's one thing I noticed as he was getting closer, the screams and all that stuff was getting louder.
He walked in some place where it was like bad smell. You could see
there was bad smell. It sounded like there was some people getting violated in the background. I mean, it was...
This was the most action in this episode, I will say, because he starts fighting some of the guards and some of the guys that are, you know, the caretakers of the slave trade here. He starts smashing one guy's head in, and he starts freeing the people, and then the people start fighting back, and he starts setting the whole place ablaze. And he opens one of the rooms, and he finds Tony, like,
all beat up,
knocked out. Yeah.
But he gets them out, and he gets everybody else out, or at least out of their cells. I don't know if the guards are gonna grab them, wrangle them all up, but there's a fire going on as well.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of fires, so it's chaos. It's chaos.
And he sees Marley, and Marley sees them. He stops. He's in shock, and he runs off.
Yeah.
So I guess he's not going to be on the ship anymore, but he's definitely probably going to join up with that other guy that he met with last.
Yeah, you know what? That's funny too, because he never brings that up. The captain. He's worried. He's saying, "Oh, we're setting sail regardless if Kiana shows up," but he never says anything about Marley. I guess he doesn't care. Marley was just.
Well, Tony's definitely going to say something later.
Oh, forget it. We're missing the point.
Wow.
Early on when they docked, remember he said, the captain said, "All right, go out there. We're gonna set sail for the next route. You want to go back on it? Just show up. If not, whatever."
Yeah.
That's
so no, he's not going to notice him gone, but he probably noticed that his map is stolen unless they made a good copy of it. And two, once Tony comes to, he's definitely probably going to let them know this guy's up to no good. So because Marley was under the impression that Tony was gone, send him off in the trade, and he won't say anything. So
yeah.
Now they're both going to probably end up intersecting with this whole thing on these islands, and it's going to be a big bloodbath, I'm assuming. But yeah, Kiana takes Tony. They get on a little boat. They row to the ship. They climb aboard. Kind of looks at the captain. I think we have an image of this.
Yeah, I think so.
The next one.
Yeah.
A little bit of shock, a little bit of like, all right, I guess you're here.
We made it. All right. Well, even I'm blanking on her name, but the woman, she's man, what was her name? I'm blanking. The one that helped Kiana. That's their Kai. Yeah. She told the captain, she was like, "You can't leave. That voids out this arrangement, this deal. So regardless, you're staying here. You're gonna wait." And he makes it, and he makes it back with Tony, which is great. So
she approaches Kiana and she goes, "We're headed back home to your family."
Yeah.
And speaking of family, we see couple E back in her quarters, and she seemed like she did a prayer. We see some kind of smoke thing. Maybe she's looking for answers. Maybe she's feeling conflicted herself. She's mourning still, but this is how she's handling it. And then Namak just walks in, and they look at each other, and she puts her hand on his chest, and then puts her head on his chest, and he caresses her hair, and then they kiss, and they start making out, and then silently the episode ends.
That's it. This is it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the rules. Again, people, if you know the culture, put in the comments of that time. Things have always changed. But can she remarry? Is it okay? Is it considered enough time of 1 year, or do they have to produce a body? Do you need the bones before? You know what I mean? One of those situations where, no, you're married. Yeah, you're married for life. There's no body.
Do you think Kiana's going to understand, or do you think he's going to try to fight him?
It depends. It depends on the time, how long it takes to go back. According to what it's the historical aspect of this, it takes another year, right? Isn't it like another year to go? So that's 2 years, if that happens at this point. I don't know. I don't think so. But then again, we don't know
what's in his mind. And she's pregnant.
Oh yeah,
they were also talking about children in the beginning and stuff.
Yeah, they were talking about children, but he wasn't too thinking about it. She was really thinking about it. What do you do? And this is your half brother. You have to take into account that they thought you were dead. We get what happened to you and the whole thing, but
so what do you think is going to happen next? Are we jumping right back to the islands and trying to settle everything?
No, I don't know.
The other slave trade.
I mean, we're halfway through this season. If there's multiple, I don't know. We'll find out. But right now, there's only 8 episodes. I don't think he's going to get there right away. I think they're going to make another route, another stop, or something happens that throws him off course. This is my guess. Do they even have the maps? Because didn't Marley and them steal the maps from the captain? Right? Wasn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, he did.
Right. Why they went back to that was the whole thing. So when the captain goes and once they're sailing and he goes into his cabin, it's like, all right, let's pull out the maps. Let's get ready for the navigation.
Let's hope Kiana could navigate the stars pretty well.
Oh, I don't think so, because he's never been this far out. That's the other thing. He's never been this far out. He doesn't know from this direction. Maybe he does, maybe not, but I don't think he does. And I don't know, unless the captain made multiple copies of the map. That map is
I'm
gone.
hoping they
Marley
have
has
some
it.
general idea.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. But I have a feeling they're not going to get back to the island right away. Something tells me they're going to
That's
go
such a
somewhere
wild
else.
concept now. Like we look at the map of the world on our phone, and it's like, oh, we could like last night, my girlfriend and I we were doing this thing where we like to do like little trivia games with each other. And so we were like, oh, find this on the map, and we were looking at all these things on the map, and I'm like, it's so crazy to think that there was a time where it's like someone visited something and they left and they were like, I have no clue how to get back there, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, if you didn't have a navigator or something, let's say if you were on a ship, your navigator got sick and died, good luck trying to find your way home. There was always a backup because of that. It was a different time. It was definitely a different time, a scary time, because you were out on sea for months at a time just to get from point A to point B. You had to worry about storms, all kinds of things. You couldn't call for help if there was a situation. You had scurvy that was spreading on ships. Oh, it was pirates, you name it.
just fighting with each other.
Yeah, fighting amongst each other. It was a hard time. It was a hard time. But I think that's why everyone's so amazed when you start hearing about that time period and just life and travel. And that's a big part of this here. It's because this happened. What we're hearing about, real events, real people, real situations. It's different. It's something that we can't. Some of it we can relate to, like what she's dealing with now, husband gone old. But this whole thing with war and coming back,
I would love to know if, and hopefully someone can answer this, if there's any surviving relics, at least from Kiana or anybody from Maui at this time. Like, is there a museum?
Oh, there
I'm sure
has
there's
to
a
be
bunch of
on the
museums, but
Big
like, I would
Island. There has to
like,
be.
do they have things from him? Is there any surviving artifacts of his? That'd be really cool to know. I always thought it was cool. Like
I want to find this article. People, if you could find it, I could have swore there was an article that with an interview with Jason Momoa talking about how he was an ancestor of Kaani, and that's what motivated him to work on this. Yeah, Kaana. Sorry, yeah, it was Kaana. That's I gotta find that. I saw this interview and I was like, oh, I pinned it. I thought I pinned it, and then I couldn't find
they
it.
have like a list of his ancestry, but I don't know.
And we couldn't find that anywhere else, right? That wasn't mentioned. So maybe that was just BS. Maybe somebody was spreading something to get clicks. But
they have his ancestry going before him. I mean,
yeah.
Did he have any children?
Oh, Kaana? Yeah, I think he had a few. I think he had a few children and wives, if I remember right, from the history that I saw. But I don't know. Well, we'll have to see. Anything?
I don't see anything
No. Well, if not, if you know any little more, then just let us know. But definitely about the museum, I'm sure there has to be something in Hawaii and on the mainland.
No, it's because like for example, I went to France when I was younger, and I went to Napoleon Bonaparte's grave, his burial chamber thing, and they had like his hat and like swords and stuff from him, and 1700s vibe still like. It'll be cool to know if there's his Maui garb. Is there something out there?
Well, there's a lot I know for Kamehameha. That I definitely know.
He has the stuff.
There's stuff. There's definitely stuff because we know so much, and he played such a major part. He really unified the islands. It's his story. It's definitely his story. And we'll get more into that as the episodes. But hey, you made this far, people. Thank you. Like, subscribe. Thanks for sticking with us and commenting and jumping in and everyone that's contributing. It's great. We're having a fun time covering this. Hopefully, we're getting other people that are not familiar that are like, hey, all right, what's going on with this show? What's it about? And that's also great. So thanks. Of course, we just finished covering Revival. That's another show that we just did the season finale. That should be out there. I think also when this comes out, we'll probably have Dexter Resurrection, the latest episode. So we have a few shows that we're covering on this channel. So again, if you are interested in these shows and other shows we'll bring up, just give us a subscribe.
I just want to say that like we're kind of viewing this as we're both lovers of cinema. We love watching TV, movies, things like that, and this is why we're doing this channel. And the idea behind this is that we're covering shows, but we're not trying to cover shows like I guess most people online would be, we're trying to create almost like a book club community of TV shows. So we cover a show. Hopefully you could subscribe or find that find this show and join this path with us and build this community. And we love the interactions. We'll always shout you out. We'll communicate with you. We want you to feel more included. And I know a lot of content creators say that, at least in the beginning, and this and that, but I mean, this is great for us. Adam will call me and be like, this person commented this, what is it? And I'll be at work and I'll be like, oh, this is so sick. Like, it's fun. It's fun. And I hope you guys are having fun too. Thank you so much, honestly, for listening.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, everybody. We'll be back for episode 5 next week. Have a good week. Or I should say weekend. Going into the weekend.